Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we have another romantic.
A little romantic. We got a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and they're apologizing to each other.
Okay, so it's a very common situation, and we're going to be talking about love. We're also going to talk about different pet names that are commonly used in English.
That are used with your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay, very good. So let's listen to this dialogue for the first time and see what's happening with our couple.
Can we talk?
Sure, honey. We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know.
I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey.
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate, well, maybe it's just time we...
Baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun
Vocabulary preview.
Oh, baby, I'm so sorry.
So romantic and dramatic.
I think she really needed to hear that. Right, so I think she really wanted to hear, I love you.
Yeah, that's right. And there's some interesting phrases here in this dialogue. And today we're going to focus mostly on phrases. So why don't we start with Fluency Builder?
Fluency Builder.
Okay, on Fluency Builder today, we are going to take a look at some of these phrases. And the first one is very important and very different.
So obviously this dialogue is about love, and we heard two different ways that this word is used. And the first one is to love someone.
Right, so he said, I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
We all pretty much understand what that means.
Right, but they also mentioned to be in love with someone.
Okay, so he said, I am in love with you.
I'm in love with you.
In love.
Okay, so what's the difference between to love and to be in love?
To be in love with someone means that you have these strong romantic feelings towards somebody.
That's right. So you can only be in love with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, or your wife.
So you can love your parents, you can love your family, but you can't be in love with them. You can only be in love with your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife.
That's right.
Okay.
So moving on to the next phrase. Now, the girl asked her boyfriend, can we talk?
This is a very simple sentence.
Right. We know the meaning, right?
Mm-hmm. But why does she say, can we talk?
Okay, so you use this when you want to start a conversation about something serious.
Okay, so if you wanted to talk to me about my new shirt.
I wouldn't say, hey, Marco, can we talk? Oh, I really like your shirt. Where'd you get it?
Exactly, right?
It has to be serious.
It has to be serious. So usually if somebody says, hey, can we talk? It means that there's going to be a serious topic.
Yeah, it's going to be probably bad news.
Maybe bad news. So can we talk? So if your boyfriend or girlfriend tells you this, well, it's not a good sign.
That's right.
All right. And the last phrase that we have on Fluency Builder.
Dialogue.
You know what I mean.
All right. So again, this phrase is very simple to understand, right?
That's right.
So you know what I'm talking about.
You understand me.
Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is that we can also make it a question.
And it's all about the change in tone.
Okay, so with this in mind, let's listen to two examples of the same phrase, but with different tones.
Mm-hmm.
And you try to see which one is the question.
Example 1.
I'm tired of doing nothing all day here at home. You know what I mean?
Example 2.
Come on, Charles. You know what I mean when I say that I don't like your friends.
Example 3.
I hate this class. It's so boring and tedious. You know what I mean?
All right, so we heard the examples and, well, maybe you guessed it right. The second example was the question.
That's right. You know what I mean?
Right. So basically, you're asking the person if they understand your idea or they understand what you're talking about. So maybe you can say, so the professor wasn't very clear on his instructions, so how was I supposed to do the homework? You know what I mean?
So you're asking me to confirm that I understand you.
My idea. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. And if it was a statement, I might say, hey, I don't like going to your mom's house.
So I would say, what? What do you mean? Why?
You know what I mean.
Right. So I perfectly understand or know the reasons why you don't like going to
Yeah.
my mom's.
I don't have to tell you. You know what I mean.
All right. Very good. So you know what I mean. Great. So we've taken a look at these 4 phrases. They're very simple, but the way that you use them gives them different meanings. All right. So let's listen to our dialogue for the second time. Let's slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back and look at some more phrases.
Can we talk?
Sure, honey. We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know.
You know, I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey,
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate. Well, maybe it's just time we.
baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun down.
Oh, baby. I'm so sorry.
So now it's time for us to take a look at some more phrases, but this time we're going to look at them in
Putting it together.
We're going to see how we can use these phrases in a few different situations. So the girl wanted to talk to her boyfriend because she wanted to know, where is this relationship going?
So she wants to know what's going to happen or
What's the future?
What's the future of this relationship?
Yep.
Are we going to get married? Or
Yeah.
we just what's happening?
Yep.
So why don't we listen to some examples with different nouns and how we can use this phrase?
Example 1.
I don't know where my career is going in this company. I don't see any potential for growth.
Example 2.
This movie is so confusing. I have no idea where the plot is going.
Example 3.
We have been in this meeting for over 2 hours and I still don't know where it's going.
So again, this phrase is just asking about the future of something.
Right. So where the future of this movie, where is this movie going?
Yeah, what's happening?
Right. What's going to happen?
Yep.
Or your career, etc.
Yep. Okay, and so the girl, she was talking a little bit about her feelings, and she said, maybe it's just time we...
So this phrase isn't complete yet.
Yeah.
We need to finish it.
Yeah.
But she is basically saying, maybe we should do this.
Mm-hmm.
How can we finish the phrase?
All right, so she could say, maybe it's just time we break up.
All right. Or I can say, maybe it's time we have a baby.
Ooh, Marco.
All
Or
right.
even, maybe it's time we go home.
Okay. So it's getting late. Let's go home. Maybe
Yeah.
it's time we go home.
Yeah.
So this is how we can finish this phrase. And what about our last phrase?
So she also said, we've had our laughs.
Okay. So that means we've had our good times.
Yep.
Okay.
But we can change this to, we've had our ups and downs.
Or we've had our moments.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that means we've had our good moments and our bad moments.
That's right. Or we've had our issues.
Okay. So that means we've had some problems.
Yeah.
We've had some difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Or even we've had our moments.
So that means we've had
Special times.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that means we've had our special times, special occasions
Yep.
that we will always remember.
That's right.
Okay.
So three really useful structures that you can change the words a little bit to slightly change the meaning.
Okay. So it's time for us to listen to our dialogue for the last time. Now we're ready to understand everything. And then we'll come back and give you some examples of pet names in English.
Can we talk?
Sure,
I'll do an
honey.
example.
We're talking now, aren't we?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
I want to know where this relationship is going. I'm in love with you, and I need to know.
I think you're awesome.
I'm awesome. Well, I guess that's my answer, isn't it?
Honey,
Look, if you don't love me, it's not a thing, all right? We've had our laughs, but I don't appreciate. Well, maybe it's just time we.
baby, I love you so much.
You do?
I love you, and I think you're awesome.
Oh, I love you too.
Come on, put the gun down.
Oh, baby. I'm so sorry.
All right, well, Marco, you mentioned this word pet names. And what exactly is that?
All right. So pet names aren't names for your dogs or your cat.
Right.
They are those sweet names that you would call your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay, so like baby.
In our dialogue, we heard baby.
Yep.
Right? So we're not talking about a
A little child.
little child now.
Yeah.
This is usually how you would call maybe your girlfriend or boyfriend,
Mhm.
baby.
Or
Honey, right?
Yep.
Hey, honey, or honey, I'm home,
yeah.
right? But we also have other ones like sweetheart
Mm-hmm.
or
Darling.
darling.
Yeah.
Or what about sweetie
Mm-hmm.
or
Cutie. Oh.
So some of these phrases can be a little bit like cheesy, maybe
A little
too
sweet.
much,
Yeah.
like smookums, like snookums,
Okay.
or honey bunny.
Oh, yeah.
We also have sweetie pie.
Yep.
Yeah. And some of them will make some up, right? Maybe they'll call their boyfriend Pooh Bear,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, like Winnie the Pooh Bear.
I heard dumpling is a common one.
Also, it could be, you can make up your own phrase. You can make up your own pet names, right?
Yeah. So I want to hear from our listeners. Are there any common pet names in your language?
I know that in Spanish, we sometimes call we can sometimes call our girlfriend gorda, which
Okay.
actually means fat. But it's not in a bad way.
Really?
It's a sweet way of calling your girlfriend. So.
And I know in French you can say ma puce, which basically means my flea.
Yeah, so some of them, if you translate, you wouldn't really use in English. But let us know. Translate from your language or other ones that you've heard maybe in movies or talk shows. And come to our website, englishpod.com.
Yep. Leave your questions there, as well as your pet names. And Marco and I are always happy to see you there.
Until next time, bye.
Second paragraph in the dialogue.
All right, let's dive into some romantic English phrases today.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we're looking at an episode from English Pod, and
Okay.
it's all about how to use
Yeah.
the right phrases to navigate those
Yeah.
tricky conversations when you're,
Mhm.
trying to figure out where a relationship is going, or you're
Yeah.
on that first date and you want to,
Right.
make a good impression.
Yeah, so much of it just comes down to those little phrases.
How much weight they carry.
Exactly. And it's amazing
Yeah.
what a difference a single word can make.
Yeah, like you think about something like,
Mm.
can we talk?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds innocent enough.
Right.
But, if you ever been on the receiving end of that,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of an edge to it.
Yeah. It definitely signals like, okay,
Yeah.
things are about to get serious.
Yeah. This is not just, casual conversation.
Right. It's like a power move almost.
Like a gear shift.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think the English Pod dialogue really highlights that.
Oh, interesting.
How do they actually use the phrase, can we talk?
Oh, wow.
And she pulls out a gun.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So it's a little bit of
A little dramatic.
a little dramatic, but it's a funny way to
Yeah.
emphasize that point.
Definitely grabs your attention.
Right, exactly. And then from there,
Mm.
it kind of unfolds into this whole conversation about love and relationships.
Mhm.
And there's another interesting distinction that they make, which is between to love and to be in love.
Oh, that's a classic one.
Right. And the boyfriend actually says,
Mhm.
I think you're awesome. And she's kind of like, wow, that's nice. But
Yeah. Yeah, because awesome doesn't necessarily imply romantic love.
exactly.
Like you could say that about a
Yeah.
friend or a coworker or,
Right.
a really.
Or even like a
Yeah.
sunset.
Exactly.
Like, wow, that's an awesome sunset.
But
But to be in love
Yeah.
is reserved for that romantic,
that deep connection.
that spark,
Yeah, exactly.
the butterflies.
The butterflies, exactly.
And there's this other phrase that I've
Right.
never really
Yeah.
stopped to think about before, but
Yeah.
the girlfriend uses it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And we say that all the time.
All the time, right?
But I've never really thought about how it functions in a conversation.
It's interesting how it can be both a statement and a question.
Right.
It depends on the tone of voice.
Yeah, like if you say,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful day out, you know what I mean? It's like you're assuming agreement.
Right, exactly.
But if you say,
Yeah.
I don't know about this new art exhibit,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Then it becomes a question like,
Exactly.
am I right?
You're looking for validation.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Is this weird?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because the person who's saying, you know what I mean, is often the one who's in a position of
seeking
wanting to establish that connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
That common ground.
Especially in a romantic context.
Yeah. Like you're trying to get on the same page.
Exactly.
And then, of course, she hits him with the big question.
Oh, here it comes.
Where is this relationship going?
The ultimate question.
Right. And I think we've all been there.
We've all been there at some point.
Where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Where are we headed?
Are we just,
Right.
hanging out?
Is this casual? Is this serious?
Is this going somewhere?
Yeah.
And it's
Vocabulary
interesting because
preview?
that question
Mm-hmm.
isn't just limited to
Right.
romantic relationships.
You could ask that about a project?
Yeah, where's this project going?
Where's this meeting going?
Where's this argument even going?
Exactly.
Right.
And about seeking clarity.
What's the point?
Correct.
But in a romantic context,
Yeah.
there's that added layer of
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability, because
Yeah.
you're putting yourself out there.
You're putting your heart on the line.
You're saying, I care about this.
And I need to know if you're
If we're on the same page.
on the same page.
Yeah.
So does he actually answer her question?
He does, but in a very
Oh.
clever way. He
Yeah.
uses an unfinished phrase.
Oh.
Maybe it's just time we...
Oh, the suspense.
And then he leaves it hanging.
That's so good.
Like a cliffhanger.
It's like a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It leaves you wanting more.
And the context becomes so important.
Right, because he could be about to propose.
He could break up with her.
He could say, let's get a pet goldfish.
He could suggest they go on vacation.
Exactly.
It all depends on what's come before.
The tone, the body language, everything.
So how does understanding these kinds of phrases help someone who's learning English?
Well, imagine you're in a new relationship and someone says,
Oh.
maybe it's time we are...
Right.
You need to be able to recognize that as a potentially significant moment.
Like a turning point.
Yeah, a turning point. So you pay attention.
Yeah.
You listen carefully.
It's the subtext.
To the subtext, exactly.
Okay, so it's like a linguistic heads up.
Exactly. Like, oh,
Pay attention. Something's happening here.
things are about to get real.
Right.
And this kind of understanding can help you navigate those
Yeah.
delicate conversations with
You're confident.
more confidence.
Yeah.
I wish I had this kind of breakdown when I was learning English.
It's like having a secret decoder ring for relationships.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
You can unlock the hidden meanings.
okay, so the dialogue also touches on this idea of how we summarize
Oh, okay.
shared experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So the boyfriend says, we've had our laughs.
Okay.
But you could also say,
You could say we've had our ups and downs.
we've had our moment.
We've had our disagreements.
Ugh.
We've had our issues.
And each of those phrases carries a slightly different
Connotate.
like it reflects the overall trajectory of the relationship.
Exactly.
Okay, so back to our English pod couple.
Yes.
Do they make it? They do.
Do they ride off into the sunset together?
Well, before we get to the grand finale,
Oh, there's more.
there's one more element we need to explore.
Okay.
Pet names.
Oh, pet names.
Yes.
This is where things get fun.
This is where things get cheesy.
And a little cheesy.
Honey bunny, sweetie pie.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
All those classics.
who hasn't cringed at a honey bunny
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a sweetie pie?
But they're important.
They're important.
We're part of that.
I was
It's the
saying-
language of affection.
Okay, so it's not just about the words themselves.
It's about the feeling behind them.
The feeling, the connection.
Yeah, exactly.
So does the English pod couple actually make it?
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, come on.
But before we spoil the ending,
Okay.
let's dive deeper into this whole pet name phenomenon.
I'm intrigued. Tell me everything.
Okay, buckle up. So we were talking about pet names,
Yes. Pet names, those terms of endearment.
like honey and baby.
Yeah, the classics.
But you know, those can sometimes feel a little bit overused. Yeah, or impersonal.
Right, like if you hear honey bunny one too many times, it starts
It
to...
loses its charm.
Yeah, it loses a little something.
Exactly. So that's why it's interesting to see
Right.
how couples kind of personalize it.
Ah.
You know, they might invent their
Yeah.
own nicknames based on
Yeah.
inside jokes or shared experiences or...
Yeah, it's like a funny thing that happened on a date or
Exactly. Or maybe they borrow terms from other cultures,
like gumpling.
like dumpling.
I've heard that one a lot lately.
Yeah, it's kind of adorable.
It is kind of adorable.
It is, and it just shows how language is constantly
Yeah.
evolving,
Yeah.
especially in the realm of romance.
Right. Because what might sound cheesy to one person
Exactly.
might be super meaningful
To
another couple.
Yeah, it's all about what works
Yeah.
for them.
It's about that shared meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but back to our English pod couple.
Dialogue.
Oh, yes.
Do they make it?
So after all that buildup, he finally answers her question.
Oh, tell me.
He says, maybe it's time we moved in together.
Wow. Okay.
So
Big step.
he went there.
He went there.
So those unfinished phrases,
Right.
they really can.
They pack a punch.
They pack a punch.
And it shows that he's willing to
Yeah.
take that next step.
It's not just words.
Yeah. It's action.
It's like putting your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. He's not just saying, I love you.
Right.
He's saying, let's build a life together.
It's that vulnerability again.
Yes, putting himself out there.
Risking it all.
For love.
Okay, so they're moving in together.
They are.
Does that mean happily ever after?
Well, the dialogue ends there.
Oh, come on.
So we're left to imagine.
Okay, but the fact that they can have this kind of
Right.
honest conversation,
Open communication.
that's got to be a good sign.
It's a very good sign.
So for our listeners who are learning English, this is a great example of how to navigate those.
Exactly.
Define the relationship talks.
What can be tricky.
They can be really tricky. Yeah, so understanding those key phrases can make a big difference.
Like, can we talk, or
you know what I mean? Or
where's this relationship going?
Exactly. Those are your tools.
Your linguistic tools.
For success.
And even if you're not planning to move in with anyone anytime soon,
Right.
just being aware
Yeah.
of these nuances
And help you connect with others.
on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
So what are some key takeaways our listeners can apply?
Okay, so first of all,
Yeah.
don't underestimate the power of those simple phrases.
Okay.
What we talked about, can we talk,
Right.
can signal a major shift
Okay.
in the conversation.
And remember that even common expressions,
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Can have multiple layers
Yes.
of meaning.
Depending on the tone
But that's not
and
too bad.
context. And pay attention
Yeah.
to those unfinished phrases.
Okay.
They can create suspense.
Yeah.
They can invite participation.
Okay.
Or they can hint at something much bigger, like moving in together.
Exactly.
And don't be afraid
Right?
to have fun with language.
Yes, explore those pet names.
Try out new expressions.
See what feels authentic
it's fun.
for you.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
remember that communication
Yeah.
is a two-way street.
You got to listen,
Listen attentively,
ask questions,
ask questions.
and be willing to share your own thoughts and feelings.
That's great advice.
And I think that applies to
To all relationships.
all relationships.
Not just romantic ones.
Yeah, being a good communicator is
It's a valuable skill.
it's essential in any area of life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into romantic English phrases,
Yes.
what's one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Embrace the journey
Ooh.
of language learning.
Okay.
It's not just about memorizing
Right.
vocabulary and grammar rules.
It's about connecting.
It's about exploring the beauty
The beauty
and
The
complexity.
beauty of human communication.
So go out there and use it.
And don't forget to share your own experiences.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
We love hearing about
Your linguistic adventures.
your adventures with language.
With love and everything in between.
We'll be back soon.
With another deep dive.
Into a fascinating new topic.
Until then, keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep the conversation going.
See you next time.
Yeah, it's like we're all on this journey of discovery.
We are.
Learning about language and how to use it.
And how to connect with others.
Exactly. So, for all of you out there who are learning English, don't be afraid to experiment.
Yes, try out these phrases.
See how they feel.
Make them your own.
And remember, the goal isn't to
Yeah.
sound like a textbook or
Right.
dictionary.
It's about finding your own voice.
It's about expressing yourself.
Authentically.
Authentically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, language is...
It's about so much more than just words.
It's about connecting with other people.
Sharing our thoughts and feelings.
Sharing experiences.
Building relationships.
So keep those ears open.
Keep those minds curious.
And those hearts ready to connect.
We'll be back soon.
With another deep dive.
Into a fascinating new topic.
Until then, keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And keep the conversation going.
See you next time.